Hey there, I'm Talia, founder of Workweek Lunch, where we are all about helping you learn how to meal prep to get more out of life. Today, I'm going to talk about 7 ways you know intuitive eating is working. So if you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, hello, good to see you. Workweek Lunch is aligned with intuitive eating, and if you don't know what that is, I recommend checking out our video about the 10 principles of intuitive eating. But basically, we don't talk about weight loss. We don't teach other people how to shrink their bodies because we want to expand your life. And if you are working on shrinking your body, you're not expanding your life. We focus on gentle nutrition, not restriction, and all that fun stuff with intuitive eating. Again, I highly recommend going to check out some podcasts or watching our video if you are unfamiliar with this concept, and then come back to this video. So I wanted to make this video because with weight loss, it's really easy to tell if it's working. You look at the scale, you look at your, how your clothes fit. You can literally see it in the mirror sometimes. But with intuitive eating, it's much more difficult to tell if it's working because a lot of its effects are invisible. I've been on my intuitive eating journey for about 4 or 5 years now, and it's not something I think about that often, which is, again, one of the biggest benchmarks. Again, it's invisible, right? It's because I'm not thinking about food, that's how I know it's working. That's just one of my benchmarks, but I'm gonna go deeper into 7 that I came up with that will help you figure out where you're at in your journey or give you something to aspire to if you are just starting out. Let's do it. Also, quick plug for the Workweek Lunch Meal Prep Program, which is our meal planning and meal prep subscription product that is fully aligned with intuitive eating. We don't share calories, macros, we don't do any healthy swaps in our recipes. It's just good food that you'll look forward to throughout the week and actually eat instead of throwing it in the trash. So check that out in the description. We have a free trial if you want to check it out. Benchmark number 1, feeling comfy around your trigger foods. So a trigger food is, I would say, it's a food that when it's in front of you, you feel or you can be felt out of control around it. Like, oh my God, you have this monologue in your head like, oh, I shouldn't eat that, but I want it, but oh, I shouldn't. And it's like a push and pull. It's like a tug of war in your brain. That's a trigger food, right? For me, it used to be M&Ms, cereal, cookies, right? Anything that you might kind of find out in the world. Trigger food. We don't want that kind of black and white thinking around food. So this benchmark, if you know you've hit it when you are around your trigger foods and you don't have that tug of war happening in your head, you don't feel like you are so zeroed in on that food, like, oh my God, should I have it? Should I not have it? Did I earn it? Oh, am I gonna work out later? That's the old way. The new way is seeing the pizza, seeing the M&Ms and just being like, okay, there's M&Ms. If I want them, I can have them. If I don't want them, I can have them tomorrow. It's really, it's very quiet, right? It's not this kind of all-consuming thoughts about that food. It's just kind of a quiet thought of, okay, there are M&Ms there, neutral, curious, not judgmental, not dramatic. So let me know in the comments, have you experienced this yet? Is this a benchmark that you've experienced, or is this something that you want to experience? Number 2, trusting your gut literally. So this would involve those times when you're able to check in with your body and yourself and ask yourself, what do I need right now? And be able to clearly kind of have that clarity around it. Like, okay, what do I need right now? Well, it's 11:45 and I know my lunchtime is coming up. I'm not quite hungry yet. Maybe I'll wait. That's just where I'm at literally right now. Just one example, maybe not the best example. That's what I can think of. When you're dieting, right, you're taught to not trust your gut. You are taught to ignore those signals, ignore your cravings, and you're taught to drink water instead of eat if you're hungry, which is absolute bull, you know what. I mean, no. So a good benchmark would be the other way of being able to check in with yourself and knowing what you need and then honoring those needs if you can in that moment. Sometimes, you are stuck somewhere on your commute and you're hungry, but you can't eat. Okay, you'll eat when the next earliest convenience kind of thing. So yeah, there's that practicality element, but again, intuitive eating is about honoring your needs to the best of your ability. Okay, number 3, you are thinking less about food. This is an exciting one because the less you think about food, the more brain space you have to think about other things, like where you want to go on vacation or planning your spouse's birthday, or you know, how you can, or maybe you have to call your mom later. Like just other things in your brain that matter will take up that space that food used to take up. This is just one of my favorite parts about intuitive eating. I don't want to think about food all the time. I want my food to just be like set it and forget it because I have other things to do. So if you're thinking about food less, that's a great sign. When you're dieting, because you are restricting, you think about food more. Anything you restrict, you're gonna think about more. It's just how the psychology of restriction works. And so if you're feeling that way, know that it's normal. When you give yourself full permission to eat everything or anything at any time, and you are consistently honoring your body's needs and you're showing up for yourself, you will think about food less because you build that trust with yourself that you know you got your needs covered. So it's great. It's a wonderful feeling. And I hope that one day, if you're not already there, that you will think less about food in your intuitive eating journey. And it's weird, I say that and I mean it. Like my job is so focused around food, but I still don't really think about what I'm eating that much. And I love that. I don't want to think about it. Is that weird? I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Okay, benchmark number 4 would be steady, consistent eating. So when we're dieting, there's a lot of up and down, right? You're restricting and then you binge, and it's like a very dramatic pendulum swing, right, between restriction and binging, and eating too little, then eating too much, essentially. When you're intuitive eating and you are working on it and you're on your journey, you're gonna find that your eating throughout the day is more balanced. You're not gonna be eating a ton of food at night because you're eating enough during the day. So think about it, think about your days. Do you find yourself eating kind of, again, when you can? Not everyone's job allows for and schedule allows for regular meal times, but in terms of your schedule, are you eating when you can? Are you honoring your needs, essentially? Do you feel satisfied after a meal? That's the main question. Because there's no right amount to eat. And again, it doesn't matter how good we are at intuitive eating, we're gonna need different amounts of food every day based on what we're doing, hormones, sleep, everything else. So, you know, there's definitely a little bit of fluctuation, but we are looking for less of that dramatic eating too little during the day and eating a ton at night kind of thing. Number 5 would be quieter cravings. So I don't know about you, how you experience cravings right now, but for me, my cravings definitely are there, but they're just not very loud. It's like, and I've done this for a long time, I've talked about this before, but if I'm craving a burger and it's Wednesday, so I have my meal preps kind of done for the week, I make a mental note to make sure to get a burger this weekend. So I'm honoring my craving. I'm telling myself like, hey, your burger's coming. It's just not gonna come right now because, you know, we have food to eat that's already meal prepped and you're gonna get your burger. That's kind of how I've approached it. It works really well for me. I don't feel like I'm restricting myself because I'm not like, I don't have to earn it. I just have to wait a little bit and be practical about it because I don't want to waste my food. My cravings are pretty quiet. They don't just like, it's not like I think about or I see a chocolate chip cookie and all I can think about is chocolate chip cookies for days. That's a loud craving, right? So a quieter craving will happen when you are honoring your cravings more consistently because your body will trust that it doesn't need to send you those signals. Cravings are literally signals for what your body needs. Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes there are other things going on, but trust your cravings. They're telling you something. And I know how scary that sounds, by the way, because there's so much diet advice out there about like how to ignore cravings, how to basically eat an apple instead of a brownie if you're craving a brownie, which again is such bull. Like, don't do that. Eat the brownie. Just eat the brownie because you're going to eat that brownie anyway. The last benchmark that I could think of is less judgment, more curiosity. So when we're in the diet stages or early stages of intuitive eating, the food police is really loud. And ignore the food police or confront the food police is one of the principles in intuitive eating. I forget which number it is, but it's in there. The food police is basically that voice in your head or people around you that are like, are you sure you want to eat that? That's bad for you, or that's bad for you. You know, that's the food police. So when you start to hear those voices less often or if they're completely gone, that means that your intuitive eating practice is really working and you are learning to trust your intuition and your gut over these external voices that say what you're eating is good or bad. If you find yourself hearing those voices less and less, great job. And if you're not quite there yet, I recommend using curiosity instead of judgment. Why do you think that way? Where do those thoughts really come from? Who said to you that brownies are bad and like empty calories? Where do you learn that from? And is that true? Do you believe that? Is that I personally don't believe brownies are empty calories. You know, if I was hungry and the only thing I could eat was a brownie, I'd eat it. It would literally give me calories for energy, right? If that was the only option. So those are the 6 benchmarks that I could think of. I don't know if I said 7 in this video, but there are 6 that I could think of. If there are any that you could think of, please pop them in the comments. I'd love to hear other signs and ways you know that intuitive eating is working for you. There are probably tons and tons of different little signs and signals that you're improving your relationship with food. So again, those are the 6 that I think of. I hope this helps for you. And let me know if you are there or if you're working on it. Let me know where you are in your journey in the comments. I'd love to hear. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you next time. Bye.